Hold that, let me take my time.
All right, so I promised you Kyle, because when I opened the pistons earlier, I just knew what they looked like, didn't know what the holes and everything on them were. So here he is. Yo, floor is yours, man. Let the people know. Again, I gave you guys the unboxing. He's gonna give you guys the knowledge.
Yes, sir. So these are a set of Wiseco pistons. These are from their HD series. So these are their heavy duty pistons for the application that you're going for. We're gonna need the heavy duty pistons, high cylinder pressures, high temperatures. Yep, so your high temperatures, high cylinder pressures, that kind of thing. You want the HD series of the Wiseco pistons. You know, we use these all the time for all sorts of applications. They come with a nice heavy duty upgraded wrist pin. So like we talked about before, the wrist pin, you know, you had mentioned that you were unsure what that was. So this is your wrist pin. This is what holds the piston to your connecting rod. You know, and the wrist pin sits here, through here. Your small end of your connecting rod sits in there. So the Wiseco HD series pistons come with a heavy duty wrist pin. You know, for your application, we don't need to go any crazier than that for a wrist pin.
Right.
And it's not too heavy.
To go heavier than...
Yeah, so we don't need to go any heavier than the supplied wrist pin that comes with it for your application. And if you go any thicker than this, you're gonna start adding a ton of weight, which, you know, weight in your engine rotating assembly is your enemy. As much as, you know, you do need to add weight for strength,
Right.
you also want the lightest part possible for your longevity and for making more horsepower.
Right.
So these are a really nice piston. They're lightweight, super strong.
Right.
They come with the skirt coating already on them. They have a really nice thick dome to them, so you don't have to worry about, you know, overheating and warping the dome of this piston too much, you know, as long as the tuning is in check. They have plus size valve reliefs already cut in, so you don't have to worry too much about your valve to piston contact as long as we measure it correctly.
And this is specifically the one that you suggested that we use.
Yes. So this particular piston is a 10-to-1 compression piston that is specifically designed to work in the stroker application for the stroker crankshaft that we are using.
Right.
So
If you guys haven't seen that stroker video, it's in one of these corners. Check it out.
yeah, and like we mentioned in the stroker video, how we have to move the wrist pin up in the piston. So when you have a stroker piston, if you look at where the hole is here in the piston, that is moved up into the area where your oil control ring groove sits. So there's actually a extra ring that we have to put in here to support the oil control ring. Yeah, so with that wrist pin being moved up, what that does is when this is sitting in your engine, you have your connecting rod hanging off of here, attached to your crankshaft, with the wrist pin being moved up here, with your extra stroke of your crankshaft as it comes up like that.
Okay.
The piston's not going to come sticking out of the deck of the block.
Like we said earlier.
Because the wrist pin's moved up. So your fulcrum point is moved up into the piston, so the deck height of the piston from the wrist pin area is less. So that's why we can get away with using a standard length connecting rod, and we didn't have to, you know, go with a special order connecting rod, because Wiseco has these, you know, on the shelf, ready to go for that application, which is awesome that they carry all sorts of different compression ratios and strokes and bore sizes and stuff like that in stock and ready to go for motorsport applications. So, you know, worst case scenario, if we ever do have an issue, we can get replacements really quick and get you back on the track.
Copy that. So there you have it. He just gave you all the knowledge. Not too much, because, you know, we're not gonna pull the veil back on everything just yet. Shout out to Wiseco. Shout out to Race Winning Brands. Shout out to Kevin. Thank you very much. Appreciate the opportunity for joining the race program. And again, super excited, like super excited for what's to come. This is my first time building an engine, my first time getting to know the different facets and different areas of what it is inside the motor. So I'm excited to learn it. So thanks for joining us, guys. Kyle, thanks again, man. Appreciate you. And stay tuned, because we're gonna give you a full breakdown of the head, the bottom end, how everything's gonna work together, and basically how he's gonna put it together. You know what I mean? You're gonna see it firsthand. So stick with us. We got a whole series, you know, ready for you guys.